Welcome to another episode of North Texas Talks. I'm your host, Scott Ochoa, and we have a returning guest, Howard Day. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The campaign, what has it been like? You're running, you get to see behind the scenes. How's your progress going? Kind of tell us what's going on.
The really only thing, Scott, that I've really found interesting about this whole thing is how local politics are really reflective of national politics. The theme, if you will, that we've picked up around the county is that people want change. And when you look at what's going on with Donald Trump, you start to see that. Here's this outsider coming in with these ideas that nobody had thought about before, and people are embracing it. And it's the same here at the local level. People know that they have had leaders in positions for years, and they haven't affected change. They had their opportunity. The role of candidate has been incredibly insightful. I've been able to see behind the curtain, and I've used that analogy several times. When you're just the voter and you're really paying attention a few days before the election, and then you walk into the voting booth, it should not matter how many signs a candidate has wallpapered across the county. It shouldn't matter how many ads are all over the TV and radio. We want our voters to be educated. We want them to be informed. We want them to look behind the curtain and really get to know their candidates before they walk in that voting booth. And, I hate using the good old boy politics line or label. The history of our country, the good old boy network, used to be a great thing. That's neighbors helping neighbors. That's friends coming together to help one another raise a barn or, brand cattle or whatever we needed to get accomplished. Unfortunately, over the last few decades, we have taken that concept and perverted it. And so it's no longer a good label to have. The Good Old Boy Network has looked out for a very small percentage, a very small I don't want to call them a syndicate, but a very small group of individuals, selfless or selfish in their interests. And unfortunately, we now find ourselves not only in our county, but across the country, dealing with issues of people that have been in place too long, and they've been taking care of their friends instead of their citizens. So again, having that outside perspective, I can see that. The other part that really bothers me is that there are good men and women. I mean, really, really good men and women, salt of the earth, longtime residents, through loyalty, have put their faith and confidence behind a particular candidate. And if they could see behind the curtain, it would completely change their perspective. But because they have those relationships, they think they're seeing it clearly, 2020. And the reality is you need that outside perspective to come in and say, no, that's not exactly what you're seeing. So having worked in multiple states, having worked from small town agencies to a college police department, a large sheriff's office, 1,100 deputies. I mean, unless we get down to Houston, you're not looking at any organization, Texas sheriff's office, that's that big. And then the federal law enforcement credentials. Training, experience, education. I teach criminal law. So those three things, training, experience, education, has given me a completely different perspective than the average law enforcement professional. I see what's going on across the country in law enforcement, in the field of criminal justice. We talk about it in the classroom. I've experienced it at other positions in which I've worked. There are better ways of doing things. And those are the kind of ideas, those are the kind of initiatives that I want to bring to the Sheriff's Office.
Thanks for watching this episode of North Texas Talks with our guest, Howard Day.
Thanks for having me.
Don't forget to get out and vote on March 1st if you haven't already. And just like part of your campaign team, you can like and share this episode, which will give him more viewership, more publicity, and
of course more voters at the poll.
More
51% on March 1st. 51. That's what we need.
So make sure you like and share this episode. And if you're there at YouTube, you can also be a fan and subscribe to our channel. That would be awesome too. Howard, thanks again.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And as always, we'll see you next time.